helping and, letting us use his platform to give us a voice, and let us talk about what happens, and how to essentially be a really good male ally. Papaya is a platform dedicated for the non-traditional STEM student, and we want to raise and put in the best light anybody who's non-traditional, and that happens to be women and, essentially minorities like Hispanic people or African Americans. So today we dedicated to women in STEM, to show representation. So yeah, so Nikki, you and I became friends because you visited Miami. So I'm very happy and excited to have you here. I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah,
And Eduardo is, the owner of Engineering Means Guide. We usually, yeah, story, me saying like hosted on Papaya today. Yes, we're trying new things. You know how we want to keep everybody on their toes. So yeah, Eduardo is the owner of Engineering Means Guide, and he also owns an automation company. And that's another thing that we have been wanting to, we've been working on, and obviously, uh, is coming soon, is a way to provide internships to people or engineering students who haven't had the chance to get internships. So I'll let Eduardo talk a little more about that and do a quick intro for everybody who's, here for the first time. And then, yeah, we'll start with Nikki.
All right, Nikki, go for it.
Okay. Hi,
Oh,
everyone.
okay. So let's.
I thought you said.
Sorry,
I
yeah,
thought
I
you
was
said
like,
Nikki.
who's going first? It's totally fine. I'll just go. Hey,
Okay.
everyone. My name is Nikki. So right now, for my 9 to, or I call it 7 to 7. For my 7 to 7, I'm a product manager at a startup. They do data services for document discovery. And then on the side, I'm also an Instagram influencer. And I recently just signed on with an agency where I create marketing material for rich people, basically. So I do a lot of different things, but one of my biggest passions is teaching people about financial literacy and how you can create generational wealth, starting yourself for not only yourself, but also your family. I myself am a first generation, so I immigrated to America when I was about 3 years old. Um, I had to learn everything on my own. I was constantly bootstrapping everything by myself, whether that was studying for exams, prepping for college, learning what a 401k is, learning what the stock market is, learning what Bitcoin is. So since I had to do so much on my own, and I know it's difficult for a lot of people to learn all these concepts by themselves, I decided to start using my platform to empower other people to learn more about the stock market, to gain more knowledge on financial literacy. So those are my passions.
Amazing. Okay, so I'll start with the first question, and Eduardo and I will be asking you questions throughout the live. Eduardo, did you want to start with what you do best, which are memes?
Sure. Actually, I gotta download those things. I don't think
Okay,
I downloaded them actually.
no
Oh,
worries.
geez.
So I can just start with Nikki. So Nikki, what made you study engineering?
So I studied engineering because I always loved math and science. Those are subjects that really clicked with me very well. I was really into like calculus, and I really enjoyed physics as well. So naturally pursuing engineering just made sense for me because of the complexity. And also I really liked problem solving as well. And you get to do all those things in engineering.
Yes, so and I love problem solving. I think
Yes.
that I like that more than reading. So I study engineering out of like laziness. Uh,
Yep.
so Edward, do you want to go with the next question, or are you still
Yeah,
looking?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just want to say thank you both for being here today as well. And I'm excited to be interviewing Nikki, who, one thing you forgot to mention that she's also been on Fox News, which
Oh,
I think
yes.
I've seen her before. Uh,
Oh my gosh. He's
so
seen me
you might
live,
recognize the
everyone, not
face.
just like me reposting live, like he was watching
Yeah,
it on his TV.
yeah. I was like,
I want to show
once I
it.
met you, I was like, I think I've seen you before.
That's
But anyways,
hilarious.
yeah,
Oh
so
my
we're gonna be
gosh.
asking you a lot of questions about cryptocurrency. I'm also into it, and just want to learn more about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's start with the questions too, right? So yeah, my second question is more about school and your classes, and we typically start with, you know, you telling us what has been the hardest class you've taken.
Mhm. So for me, the hardest class was digital signal processing. So this is a class where it takes in like different inputs, whether that's sound, like video, whatever it is, and then it converts it into some kind of algorithm. I
Hmm.
wanted to take it because I heard that you can make Instagram filters using this class. I did get to do that, but then there were also parts of it that were very tough as well. But that was very tough for me because it was a lot of like theory, which can always be hard to wrap your head around, because I like more like practical and objective. So yeah, that was a tough class for me, but I got through it.
Well, any kind of help that you use to get through it?
I would say chegg.com. That was very helpful. And then I also went to like office hours quite often.
We didn't have she doesn't have papaya yet. That's
Yeah,
why. That's why she
yeah.
just checked.
YouTube.
YouTube, that too.
Okay, so Eduardo, did you wanted to
I
show
don't
you?
have them. Yeah,
You
I
don't
don't
have
have
them?
the. Yeah, I don't have them with me right now.
Oh, okay, no worries. Um, all right, so I will ask you the next question, essentially because we both have the same kind of parents. Uh,
Yeah.
so you have mentioned to me previously that your parents are Indian, and I know we joked about having immigrant parents and how strict they can be. In
Mhm.
what way do you think they have been instrumental to you studying or following engineering?
Yeah, I would say so. All the men in my family are actually engineers. They all studied either electrical, civil, mechanical, some form of engineering. But a lot of my female cousins did not pursue engineering, or if they did, they didn't work. They just got the degree and then they just got married right away. So I was definitely one of the first people in my family as a woman who actually used her engineering degree, which was pretty profound in a way because I typically like when you enter a field you have like mentors who are your family. I could lean on my my dad and my uncles, but they're very hardcore engineers. So I felt like I never got like the emotional side from them, but that was okay because I gained a lot of great mentors through the companies that I worked at or even events that I would go to after work. So I guess like that was what kept me going. Like seeing other women who looked just like me succeeding made me feel like I could do it as well.
Just a question for the audience as well. They're asking if you can go back, would you change your major?
So when I was studying electrical engineering, I wanted to change it so badly. I was like, I should have been a business major. I should have done something easier. But honestly, it paid off so much. Like when people see that I studied electrical engineering, they're like, okay, automatically, like I know that she's capable of taking on complex projects or she's capable of driving alignment with a lot of complex stakeholders. So I think in like the future, it pays a lot of dividends. But like at the time, I was like, I don't really see anything out of this.
Hmm,
What about you,
interesting.
Eduardo? Would you have taken
Hmm.
another one?
I think I would have taken more classes. I think I would have taken software like computer classes and
Mhm.
more electrical if I could.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll stick to mechanical, but now that I'm in the industry, I would take more software and electrical just to
Mhm.
understand things a little better.
I think
Yeah.
I honestly would have switched to electrical because I took Principles of EE,
Mhm.
and as another elective, Principles of EE was my core class. I took electrical networks because I love Principles of EE so much. I
Mhm.
don't know if I would have regretted after, but I loved it and I really wanted to switch.
Mhm.
But I already made up my mind that I wanted to go into consulting, essentially just
Mhm.
solve problems for like big companies
Mhm.
and move on. So that's why I switched to industrial. But now that I'm in consulting, I noticed that everybody studied like aerospace or whatever engineering. And to your
Mhm.
point, they only got hired because they have the ability to solve any complex problem.
Mhm.
Um, so, so yeah, I think I would have actually probably gone for electrical. I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe. Okay,
I
so
do.
yeah.
I think I have a question actually, just talking about school and just because a lot of people probably have that same, thought of changing
Mhm.
major and,
Mhm.
obviously you got through it. Do you have any tips to
Yeah.
succeeding?
I would say build your network within your majors class. Like I remember when I was studying electrical engineering, like I'm not even kidding. I like emailed the business counselor like 3 times. I was like, "Hey, I want to switch. Hey, I want to switch. Hey, I want to switch." And the guy was like, "Why are you not switching yet? What's going on?" But I think that the reason why I held back so much was because I realized that like I didn't get this far in my life just so I can just let like some moment of me failing a test define who I am as a person. So I'm not going to let that deter me from my goals and my ambitions. So what I tried to do instead was I tried to network with people within my class. When I started college, I was actually very shy. I didn't really like talking to people. I wasn't that outgoing actually. And I think part of that was also because like I wanted to fit in with the rest of the engineers, because like that's the stereotype. And when you're like a woman or like a minority in the classroom, you really have to make sure you're behaving the best way possible because you don't want people to think that like there's something wrong with you and you don't belong. So I was actually like really shy and hesitant to reach out to people. But then I started meeting people who were just like me. Like they were studying engineering, but they're also like bubbly and they like to go out and party and stuff like that. And once I found those people, I think I saw myself like, okay, I can do electrical engineering. Like I can major in this and this class as well.
It's good advice.
Do you
Mhm.
have any tips for any students looking for engineering jobs or internship positions?
I would say apply as early as you can. Just take that shot. You never know who is going to accept you, who's going to interview you. Like I've interviewed for jobs where I was like, I'm definitely not going to get this role at all, but then I got the offer and I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So definitely just like shoot your shot. Like you never know. Like I think everybody has something unique about them. You probably don't realize it because we're always so hard on ourselves, right? But other people might see that magic or that sparkle and they'll want you to join the company.
That's great. I'm paying attention to your communication skills, and I'm watching your videos on Fox News. I think the way you communicate it's good,
Oh, thank
and I think
you.
people can learn from that, right? So just
Yeah.
talking about soft skills, do you think for people watching, do you think soft skills are important?
Oh yeah, 100%. So I'm gonna be completely honest, like when I was in college, I was not that great at presentations. Like I would get really nervous, like my hands would shake and stuff like that. But the best way you can start prepping yourself for that is to watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, like listen to someone who you're super inspired by. Like I'll listen to podcasts by Mark Andreessen, who is a VC. He's just like the way he talks and communicates, it's like you got to have that charisma and that enthusiasm, right? And like especially if you're like in like a business facing role in tech, you have to have the ability to have that because you're trying to drive alignment with everyone.
Hmm.
So I would just like practice. That's the biggest thing too. And honestly, the other thing you could do is like start making stories, start making YouTube videos. Like you're talking to people, you're
Right.
practicing your pitch. Oh my gosh, this just fell. Sorry. I have this like really janky curtain that just like falls apart. I haven't fixed it in years. Okay, that's all good now. But just start practicing, like even through like stories, even Instagram Live. Like that's one way you can start to prep yourself, and it's free. Like you're not paying anything for it. The internet, anyone can say anything, right? So I would do that.
And for everybody who's watching and wants to, like practice their soft skills, we actually are produced by STEMedia, and they focus on that. They focus on the art of storytelling and essentially giving those soft skills that engineers, you know, that we need. I know I needed it. So at the beginning, yeah. So we're gonna add the YouTube videos in our blog from STEMedia. So yes. Okay, so I have the next question. So to me, you are the Bitcoin queen. I know why I picked this question. Imagine Eduardo asking you that. So when did you get into Bitcoin?
So I got into Bitcoin in college. So that's the other benefit of studying engineering. I would not have discovered cryptocurrency if I wasn't an engineer, because at the time, the only people who had Bitcoin or
Mm-hmm.
crypto in 2014 and 2015 were engineers,
Mm-hmm.
because most people did not understand the value of it and the technology
Mm-hmm.
behind it. They didn't understand blockchain. So if you were a tech student, you understood the value of it, which I think is also another thing too, that's important as an engineer. Learn from your peers. Like, what are they studying? What are they learning? What are they buying? Try to have a pulse on that, because you should be able to identify those like trends that people are taking part in, right? Because then you can join that wave of people and take part in it. So yeah, that's like another advice I would give, like network with your peers.
I have the next question. I probably have two questions actually, and I think I
Okay.
asked you this before getting into this live, and it was like, what is it that attracts you the most about Bitcoin?
Yeah, so Bitcoin for me is a gateway to financial freedom, especially for minorities, people of color, people who've been marginalized from society. I think traditional financial institutions tend to be gatekeepers. They they have this too many restrictions, like you have to have a bank account, you have to have an SSN, you have to have all these legal requirements before you can actually start sending money to people. With crypto, there's no need to have these legal entities. Anyone can send money as long as you have a wallet and Wi-Fi, which is readily available to most people. You can create a transaction.
That's that's very powerful, right? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not into banks. My banks are just annoying sometimes. I don't even go to the bank anymore. Everything's online, right? So
Yeah.
why not
Mm-hmm.
just transfer all my money into like
Yep.
cryptocurrency and be able to pay for that? I don't
Yeah.
get no fees, nothing like that. That sounds awesome.
Yep.
And at first, I didn't understand and how it all worked and its value going up and down. So you can imagine it could be a little scary, to be
Mm-hmm.
investing. Like, were you scared or worried about your money when you first invested?
Yes, I was definitely very worried and scared, because I had never invested before, and most people in my family don't invest either. That's not something my parents actually actively participate in. My parents don't own a lot of stocks, they don't invest in securities. So I was doing like the complete opposite of what I was being told to do, which was to like hoard my money and save it and never spend any of it. But I wanted to take the risk because you never know what's going to happen. And if you understand the technology, you have data to back up your assumptions, then I think that someone should just like go for it and take the plunge. And I did, and it ended up like working out like well for me.
I actually heard you on Fox about that you paid your school because you bought
Yes.
Bitcoin.
Yes.
So I thought that was amazing. And I mean, I had a question about your environment helping you, which you just answered. But to add to that, I think that it's important I feel your mission that, that you want to teach everybody about financial freedom because I also learned too late. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to my manager about some stock, like a company, not
Mm-hmm.
stocks. And he told me, oh, that makes me think that I should buy stocks in that company. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, huh? I was like, what? And he thought I was being sarcastic because I'm very sarcastic. So he's like, oh, you're serious? I thought that you were like joking with me. I thought you were saying like, duh, obviously. Like, and I was like, no. And that's when I started buying like actually chip stocks to anyone who's
Oh.
watching. So I
Mm.
saw you post about NVIDIA. I got
Yes.
NVIDIA, Land
Yes.
Research. Like it's all like triple, quadruple. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I got my dad into stocks. So now that he's
Nice.
retired, he's like, I wish I knew early. I just thought I always had a
Mm-hmm.
job. And I was like, oh, and I feel
Oh.
bad for those people, but well.
Mm-hmm.
So Eduardo, you're next.
Sure. Yeah, this is more about, your thoughts on investing in financial literacy. Like, what are your thoughts on educating people about financial?
I always do my best to try to educate people on like the differences between crypto and then securities. So securities are like the traditional stock market where you're buying shares of a company. So you can kind of think of yourself as like an angel investor, right? Like you're raising capital for that money or for that company in a way. So for me personally, like I have my favorite stocks. One of them, Sandra just mentioned, which is Nvidia. I've
Mm-hmm.
been a huge fan of them because um, everything needs like a CPU, a
Mm-hmm.
GPU, some
Mm-hmm.
processor, and that's NVIDIA for you. And I think that another thing too that's going to take off, I think, in the future is like machine learning capabilities and like how are you going to be able to power those computations? You're going to need some kind of CPU or GPU processor. So I'm very bullish on them. I hope that they continue to do well. And now with like more people mining Bitcoin and everything, I think the demand is going to go up and there's not enough supply right now, especially because a lot of these chips are created in Asian countries like China, which is now regulating a lot of the way they do manufacturing because that's just how they roll. So I can see like a little bit of a shortage in the future, a temporary one, which I think can drive the price of NVIDIA and other like processing stocks up. Yep, which is good for us. Yeah. Yep.
So what was the GPU? Because I remember this. That's why I started writing a lot of chips, and they actually have done really well. And when she says CPU, GPU, that's what she means, computer chips. So essentially, where you store data. And now that after COVID happened, everything went digital. Everything went to the cloud, which means it needs to be stored in a chip, which is what she's talking about. Just FYI. So what do you think about Dogecoin, and why would someone invest in Dogecoin? Actually, I don't know that one.
Okay, so
yeah.
Dogecoin.
I think she's. I think we're kind of losing her a little bit.
It's okay. I actually have a meme, so I can finally show one.
Okay, if you have them. If you can pull them up, then yeah, that'd be great.
I'm trying. I also cannot log in through my computer. I was like, oh, we're like SOL today.
So it looks like Nikki's having technical difficulties, or at least we can't hear her.
It's okay. What she's
You can email them to me, and I can pull them up.
So I'm maybe right. Let me actually. I'm looking at my computer and see if she emailed them to me.
So we're having technical difficulties, everybody. As you guys saw, we lost Nikki. We'll be requesting her in here shortly. In the meantime, I know I want to know where everybody's located. I'm actually located in Orange County, California, close to Los Angeles. And Sandra is in Florida. Sandra, I got your WhatsApp, but I can't open it.
Oh, shoot. Oh my God. Okay.
There she is.
Back.
Hi.
I'm back.
Wait, don't tell me I'm from Florida. I'm
it's
from
like
Miami.
SolidWorks.
It's different.
This is like SolidWorks where it just crashes sometimes. Like I see people in the comments saying that. Like,
yeah. Oh my God, I remember using that. Yeah, because when I was a freshman, I had to take the CAD stuff that MEs take, and I remember
the CAD
software,
stuff.
whatever they call it, the computer. What is it? What does that even mean? CAD? I can't even remember. Computer aided design, I think.
Computer aided design.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a great question. What is CAD?
Oh no, I don't know. I know that maybe you can just pull them on your computer. You cannot log in from your computer, Eduardo. Anyways, CAD. I don't know what CAD means to you. I never actually.
So, I did have a question for Nikki too. While while you figure that out, if you can email them to me, I can pull them up.
I don't have them. I like.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have them.
Sorry, Nikki, we can't pull up your memes right now.
Oh, damn it. Because I sent it to you on via DM. So, because you're on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can pull it up on your laptop if you have Instagram signed in on there. Sorry,
I'm not.
Oh, you're
I'm not logged
okay.
in. It's all bad right now.
Okay.
I sent you one because my next question, but yeah, you can ask your question, Eduardo, while you pull it up too.
Yeah, so my question really, we've been talking about the pros of cryptocurrency, but in your mind, do you see any cons?
I would say I guess the biggest con for cryptocurrency is the fact that there is a lot of risk in it. Obviously, with any investment, there's going to be risks and opportunities. So, I mean, I don't put all my money in there because that doesn't make any sense to me. And there's a lot of volatility, right? Because it's such a new technology. It's kind of, I say that's very similar to when the internet was starting. People didn't know what it was going to end up being like. They were very skeptical. They were like, why would everybody just put their information for everyone to access? That makes no sense. But here we are today, like we're literally connected because of the internet. And so many opportunities came to fruition because of the internet. So that's why I think that it's just something that's just very risky right now, and we don't know where it's going to go.
What about governments and the acceptance of cryptocurrency? Like, do you think governments see it as a threat?
Yeah, I would say that governments might see it as a threat because it could potentially take over their backed currency, which they might not like because they worked so hard to make this the standard, right? And then to have a competitor that could potentially dismantle them probably isn't a good feeling. So I think that they're being very cautious about it, as they should be. But at the same, that's what I mean. Elon with the Dogecoin. Yep. But I think whenever there's competition, people are going to get like riled up, right? And I think that's what's happening with the governments right now.
So while I have this Dogecoin, that was my next question. Tell me everything about Dogecoin. Why would somebody invest in Dogecoin?
Yeah, so Dogecoin is a meme currency. So it started out as a joke, but it's been widely adopted and used by Elon Musk. And it's just got a lot of traction the past couple months because of him. I do think it is kind of a risky investment because it started out as a joke and there's no real purpose to it. But like anything in life, we all like the entertaining outcome, right? And that's exactly what Dogecoin is. It's that fun, entertaining outcome. So let's see what happens. Maybe it'll hit $1, maybe it won't.
Did you put a lot of money or did you put like very little money? Or did you already take your profit out?
So I took a little bit out in January, which I kind of regret because back then I think I liquidated at like 7 or 8 cents, and then it hit like 70 cents, and I was like, great, I could have like 10x my money. But I still do have a good amount of Dogecoin. I'm gonna hold on to it just for memory's sake.
You know that I told you that I got my dad into investing because he's retired, so now
Mhm.
he's poor. He's the one that got me into Dogecoin. Can you believe that? My dad.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, oh, like Elon likes Dogecoin, so I'm gonna buy. And I was like, I'm just gonna put like $50 there to see. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
that it went, yeah, it did good. That's funny. But I took my profit because I
Yeah.
went up and I was like, I'm a little
That's
more
smart.
secure.
That's
Yeah, so it
smart.
went, yeah, so now whatever is there is like whatever. Um,
Mhm.
okay, so Eduardo, I think you have the next question.
Yeah, I think this is a question that you two have been talking about. It has to do with, creating a coin, and it's
Oh
called EdTech coin, aka Papaya
Yes.
coin.
We're gonna do it. It's
What are
gonna
your thoughts
happen.
on creating a cryptocurrency?
I think that there is so much opportunity, and this is a perfect time to actually create a cryptocurrency. I have not seen one particularly in the ed tech space. So I think like Sandra and I teaming up, we can make it happen and we can democratize education and STEM resources to anybody. And I think that's so important too, because like we're so grateful to have been going to school in America, where
Hmm.
it's really easy actually to get textbooks, to like get help and get tutors, and everything is so disposable at our disposal for us. But like for a lot of people in other developing countries, it's not that easy actually.
Hmm.
So we think that like by having an ed tech coin, this could give people in developing countries the opportunity to um, get money from their services, and then they can trade it for whatever currency they want, or they can use it to buy something else.
And another thing that we thought is also gamification of the coins. I mean, like, let's say you do well in a test, then we reward you with like a little bit of a papaya coin and things like that. That way
Mm,
people can get more engaged. So
that's interesting.
get in it,
Yeah.
Eduardo.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So, do you think that when you were a little girl, you thought you would be having the life you have now?
Absolutely not. Like I was not that ambitious actually, believe it or not. Like I I think like I feel like I didn't have a supportive environment like growing up. Like my family was so supportive, right? But then like my friends really weren't. And I think part of it is because I grew up in like a very white town in the Midwest where no one really looked like me. And yes, there were Indian people, but it was weird. It was like the Indian people didn't even want to be Indian. They wanted to be white. You know? So it was like no one was really proud of their culture. They just wanted to be something else. So and in my hometown, like I'm gonna be honest, like people just live at home with their parents. Like they don't study engineering. They do like teaching or something that's not as rigorous. I think that it's perfectly fine to, pursue whatever career you want, but I didn't meet anyone who was pursuing like engineering. So I think that was tough for me because I did have these goals in my head, but then when I would tell people about them, they were like, "Oh, don't dream too big. Don't dream too big. No one gets out of this little town." Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Eduardo, she went to Purdue, and Eduardo's partner actually also went to
Right.
Purdue. Actually,
No
Yep.
do you
way.
know? Yeah, you might know him. What's his last name, Eduardo?
Brett Bannon. He
Brett,
did mechanical engineering.
what class is he?
Uh,
You don't know your significant other's age?
2012.
2012. Oh, I'm at
By
2018.
2012, 20. Oh yeah, that's way
Yeah,
before.
no. No overlap, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, no, so Purdue is actually a really hard school. Like, so you must have been a really good student.
Hmm.
Did you go on a
Yes.
full ride?
No, but I did get like a partial scholarship though. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, Eduardo, you have the next, I mean, we're like good on time, so ask away.
Yeah, I do have more on the news of Bitcoin really, and it has to do with what's happening in El Salvador. It sounds like they're using it now, and it almost seems like it's an experiment of using Bitcoin. And have you heard about what's going on out there, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great that we're seeing more adoption with South American countries who are using Bitcoin as a legal tender. I
Mm.
think having like that, El Salvador was like the market entry into it, right? And now other countries like Peru are trying to jump on the bandwagon, and like other countries. So I think this is going to be a really exciting time. Like if honestly, I think I might just move to South America if this goes better.
Brazil.
Like honestly, yeah. Like even like just think about like I don't know, buying a house there. Like, think about how many people are going to move there if, Bitcoin becomes a legal tender. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to have a country that's actually like supporting it, that means a lot to the community.
Yeah, that would
Let's
be
all,
amazing.
let's all move. Let's all move.
Yes, let's do
I'll
it.
go with you.
Yes, yes. Eduardo goes to Mexico all the time. It's like his
Yeah,
vacation.
I mean, it's
Wow.
literally a 2-hour drive for me. I can drive and I'm in Mexico, so it's not bad at all. If Mexico adopts it and I have enough Bitcoin, I'm out.
I know.
There you go. There you go. Financial freedom.
Wait, we have a good question here. Alberto asks, do you guys think that the prestige of academic institutions still matters as it used to?
I would say not so much anymore. I know when I started college, there was this huge like, oh, I want to go to MIT and Harvard, but honestly, like with tech, they just need someone with the right skills, and a lot of it you could just like learn on the internet. You don't need to get a degree, but obviously a degree is helpful, like because not everyone is open to taking in someone who doesn't have a degree. I'm going to be honest. You have to find
Mhm.
the right company and the right hiring manager who is willing to take a chance on you. But I think if you keep trying, you will find that person. But it there will be challenges, is what I'm trying to say.
So,
I think education is changing actually too.
Hmm.
Education is changing a lot right now. People don't see college as they used to, or, so we'll
Hmm.
see what's going to happen in the next 5 years.
Hmm.
so that's another, actually, Nee asked the question, but I don't see it anymore. He asked, how did engineering help you understand finances and everything that you do with investing?
Oh yeah, because in engineering you learn a lot of math, right? So you're thinking
Hmm.
everything in like numbers. So it actually helps a lot when you're investing because every time when I do an investment, I think of it in ratios. Like, oh, okay, I put 10% into this. Okay, I put 5% into this. Like that's how I like figure out how much I'm going to allocate into each like fund. Um, so I think like, having that analytical mindset really helps you because you can actually just do it all in your head. Like you don't have to use a calculator or something. Um, so yeah, I think that's the most helpful part, like just being able to do that math by yourself.
And I have a question from the audience that says, "What? Maybe this one you know, Eduardo. What programming language should I learn for aerospace engineering?"
I know Python is definitely one of those that keeps popping up everywhere. And I know that a lot of the hardware we use has its own built interface, like every manufacturer has their own, but at the end of the day, the standards are the same. If I was to tell people to look up standards, look up the IEC 61131 standards, that those are 6 languages that the industry uses. A lot of people use structured text and ladder logic. But what's happening is because Python is so common, they
Hmm.
want to bring it back as a development interface, right? Because everybody puts a top interface behind the actual code that's really running.
Hmm.
So it's more open source, more, you know, readily available for people. It sounds like everybody uses it. I haven't personally used it enough. But yeah, Python is something I would recommend.
That's awesome. And it's the quote unquote the easiest, most friendliest programming language. So you actually learn Python before you learn Java or C. Just FYI. So don't be scared. We actually teach it at Papaya too, if you wanted to learn. Um, okay. So yeah, I mean, Eduardo, I think you have the next question.
Yeah, and it has to do more with, women in STEM and telling people, whoever's watching, any women out there, any words of encouragement, people who don't invest, what do you got to say to them?
Yeah, I would say keep your eye on the prize. Like, always stay focused, even when you have like things that, I mean, with life, there's always something that gets thrown your way, right? There's always like some setback. And unfortunately, when you're a woman, like, I feel like women have more setbacks coming their way, especially in tech because of like the gender bias. People, don't believe in you. They don't trust in you because you look different from them. That's actually something I'm facing right now where my team is all white, like literally all white, and they've probably never worked with a very talkative Indian girl before. um, so they don't know how to deal with me. So yeah, and the biggest thing is like if you're in an environment where like you don't feel respected, don't think it's your problem. It's their problem because they don't know how to take in diverse perspectives. So surround yourself with people who are like-minded to you and you will thrive. Like be in a positive environment because when you're in a negative environment, it really drains the life out of you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I have the last question, and I'm pretty sure that this is something Eduardo is very interested. So, what is blockchain?
Yeah, blockchain is a way to store data in a way that it's distributed and recorded, and it cannot be tampered with. So this is important because all that financial transaction data, it's recorded by banks. Um,
I
so,
think you're losing her.
oh, you're losing me? One sec. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
missed we
Oh,
missed
okay.
everything there.
Oh, sorry.
But
So
as you're answering, wait, so actually, let me rephrase my question. I asked about blockchain, but what are your thoughts about, like, there has been a lot of propaganda per se about blockchain or Bitcoin being used for, purposes that are illegal mainly, and that it could be more harmful. Is that still a topic of discussion, or did people clear that out?
I think like with anything, like people are going to use things illegally. Like, people use a dollar for illegal things. I
Mm-hmm.
think like with any new concept, like there's always going to be like people who want to use it for, ways that are not accepted by society. So I think that's going to happen with Bitcoin, and I think there should be more regulation. But I'm not surprised by something like that happening.
This is what I don't understand, and this is good about the question about blockchain. So if blockchain is a secure distributed ledger, nobody can tamper with that, and essentially everybody knows your movement, right?
Mhm.
I know very little, so I would love for you to educate me on this. So if I buy something illegal, but it's in the blockchain, then it will be easier to catch me, right? Or not? I mean, I don't know. Like, what are your
Um,
thoughts about it?
I would view it more from a perspective of like blockchain enables you to send money to someone a lot quicker, and you can see who has made that transaction over a period of time. So for example, if like let's say for example you're an NFT artist and
Mm-hmm.
you want to know, once you sell an NFT, you actually get like a percentage of commission. And suppose you want to know who are these people who are like, who keep buying your art collection. You can see all of that in the ledger. So it's all recorded in there. And when you make a transaction, it's just between you and that person. No bank is involved. So this means that you will get your money a lot faster than you would through like a wire transfer.
Got it.
I do have a question too
Yeah.
about just more blockchain, things that come up to mind and just the applications of it. I think of different ways we can use it, but do you have any examples of
Mhm.
how we can use blockchain?
Yeah, so we could use blockchain to determine disease spreading. So we could use blockchain to understand like, who contracted COVID-19 first, who they were connected with, how it spread, and it's all distributed and recorded in the blockchain in a ledger. So it makes it easier to collect data about people in a way that's recorded, because it actually was very hard for all these governments to align, right, and like try to determine like where was like the first trace of COVID. But with blockchain, they probably could have figured it out like very simply.
Another another example too, I think about artists, right, and their music being able to have people purchase directly from them, right, and making sure that nobody's copying their music. I think that's
Hmm.
another huge application of it. Same thing with like content.
Hmm.
If anytime you try to copy it or share it, it will be more like a share, right, rather than somebody
Hmm.
screen recording, taking your content and putting it up there in their platform.
Hmm.
So, I've been kind of looking at applications that use blockchains. I know that there is one. It's called
Hmm.
Minds.
Hmm.
They're like a social media platform that is decentralized. So,
Hmm.
and they focus heavily on people that create their own content. So I've been on it for like a couple years now,
Hmm.
Oh,
and I just curious how how blockchain is going to be implemented into new platforms,
Hmm.
which I think I'm kind of looking forward to it too, and probably
Same.
even softwares, right, for like companies and being able to track and making sure nobody hacks their stuff.
from
So,
a,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Yeah.
Nikki.
Yeah, I think it's good. So like I'm working with this one. Sorry if like the lighting is really bad. Let me actually try to move one
yeah,
sec.
you should turn on the
Like
light.
it's just like the sun is like setting, and like one sec.
It's
No
so
Yeah, so
sunny
this
out
is
worries.
here in California.
yeah, I
Oh,
live in
I
the Midwest, so
know.
it's dark all the time.
This is all
Um,
sunlight here coming in.
yeah, but what I was trying to say is like, so like with the agency I'm working with, guys, like I work with a lot of like crypto people who are actually using
Mm,
crypto in some way to solve problems. And one company that I'm working with right now is trying to improve the way, how like sometimes children get kidnapped in developing countries, especially like
Hmm.
women, they get sold on the black market.
Yeah.
Um, and they become unfortunately like sex slaves sometimes to people, and
Mm.
then they have children, and these kids will never have an identity, right? This woman will never be able to open up her own bank account. She will never be able to survive on her own terms, because when she was sold in the market, there was no passport with her. But you could use blockchain as a digital identity. So literally, like, you could use your phone, you can scan in like where you're going, and everybody knows where you're at, and all that information is recorded on the blockchain. And it will even show information like, where you were born, um, you know, how many kids you have, like your characteristics and traits. So I think it's going to really help like people who unfortunately got like the shorter end of the stick in life. But it was really
Hmm.
cool hearing what that company wanted to do with like family members who got kidnapped. I was like, that was an article they wanted me to write about, and I was like, really, how blockchain is helping like families who got kidnapped? But like once I heard like the stories that they were telling me, I was like, this totally makes sense.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's
Well,
amazing. That's
how
I
how are they? Sorry, Sandra, go for it.
no, no, I was just like I mean I it touches a little bit of my heart because well a lot, but I I did a study for the Department of Children in California, and the second most uh I guess type of um threat that they suffer is sexual abuse. So when foster kids are out there, they, you know, like the type of abuse, the second most common one was sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like broke my heart. I was like, why are people so sick? And, you know, like human trafficking is huge too. Like, I don't know how I know this and I studied it. So I'm happy that you know, this company or that you're writing an article, they're doing
Mm-hmm.
something with blockchain, and
Mm-hmm.
I would have never thought of that, you know. I think of
Yeah.
everything. I never thought of that, which is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So their concept is like they just have a digital wallet. So it's like an app you can install on your phone.
Right, right,
And they
right.
want to just
Mm-hmm.
be able, like, you know how we have to carry a driver's license or passport? It's so annoying, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
you could lose it and like sometimes you don't bring it with you. Just imagine if it was all on your phone. So like you
Mm-hmm.
show up to the airport, you know, you show your boarding pass on your phone and then you swipe and then your passport or driver's license shows up. How
Mm-hmm.
awesome would that be?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trying
What
to
if
do.
you lose your wallet?
Oh,
Let's
like
say I lose
the
my phone.
phone?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, you
Let's
shouldn't do
insert
that. Don't lose your phone.
it's insert yourself a chip. Let's insert ourselves a chip, and now you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll track you with that.
That's funny.
Don't say chips because we have a shortage on that.
Yeah, we
Even
do.
our industry is affected by it because we work with touch screens and controllers
Oh,
and all that, so it's getting hit as well. So
yeah.
Well, we haven't talked too much about Eduardo's company. He actually,
Yeah.
I think, so I know we were talking about investing before we joined the call or like venture capital, and we'll introduce Eduardo to it. He is a early, I guess, adopter of, or his company is an early adopter of the weed industry because California is big on that. So he automates a lot of the processes that they do manual. So imagine they used to roll these like joints or whatever manually, or the oil, or everything you know you can think uh, of like you know weed and CBD and cannabis. So Eduardo automates everything. He makes gummies. So instead of making like 20 an hour, you can make how many? Like 1,200, I think, an hour? Or what's the.
yeah, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 carts. So yeah, just a little bit about Lumis Automation.
Mhm.
We do automation of all kinds, but the cannabis industry is something that's booming out here. And one of the processes we automate is filling cartridges. We also pack joints. We do software for extraction systems. And um, what's the other one? Oh, we make edibles as well. And we're also crystallizing CBD, which is pretty interesting. Um, so people probably have seen it, you know.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff. I mean, we get into all kinds of things like robotics and machine design. We, you know, some and just kind of going to tracking, right? Like tracking information and applications of cryptocurrency. I think it's because cannabis is almost seen like almost like a medical and
Mhm.
recreational drug. So you have to apply the medical aspects to it, like tracking, like where did it come from. And I'm always thinking of, well, how can I, you know, almost like track every single product that is being sold.
Mhm.
So with, I've been thinking, how can you mark them or something, and before they ship out, you're collecting data, and pretty much that's one way of using crypto blockchain as well. So
Hmm.
hopefully in the near future, there's more softwares that we can implement that use blockchain.
Hmm.
So I'm just kind of looking forward to that.
Yes. So I know we're coming to the bottom of the hour, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Nikki. And then I
Yeah.
always ask this question, but if you if you can tell me, so what do you think attribute to the success you have today? Because I think you're very successful,
Oh,
especially
thank
from where
you.
you came from, like I even getting to Purdue,
Hmm.
everything, and you're like, I saw your blog and there were ads. I was like,
Oh,
this girl is killing it. Like you're like on Fox News. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm pretty sure your
yeah.
parents are proud. But what percentage of that do you attribute to luck, and what percentage do you attribute to um, just hard work?
I would say that like 90% of it is really hard work because I think luck is such a weird word because like yes, obviously there are certain people in life who just get very lucky, right? Like they have these natural gifts
Mm,
and things just come their way. But for most people, it tends to be hard work. So what I'm someone who's very like stubborn on my goals. Like I
mm,
create vision boards at the beginning of the year and
mm,
like I journal a lot and I manifest about the life I want to have. And I think that helps me get closer to my goals because even when I have like a bad day, I'm like, well, I want this in my life. And if I don't work hard and if I don't focus and if I don't persevere, I won't have that life.
mm.
So I constantly tell myself that, like, most days, sometimes it's hard to do it every day. I'll be honest, being consistent. But as long as you're doing it like regularly, I think it really helps.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you say 90% hard work and 10% just showing up to the opportunities that are given to you.
Exactly, yeah. Like taking in
Mm,
those calls, answering that email, that's another
mm,
thing too, right? Like if I like, the way that the producer found me on Fox is she DM'd me on Facebook. You know, what's the crazy part? I don't even check Facebook anymore. But that
wow.
day, I like opened it. For some reason, I opened it and I saw her message request and I was like, is this a joke? Like, is this like actually like Fox News? Like, I feel like someone's messing with me right now. But I just responded because I was like, whatever. And then it was like, and then I was on the show and everything, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So it
That's
is it
cool.
is really like, you got to answer your emails, you got to answer those calls, you got to attend the meetings. Um, Now I think it's a lot easier because we're all like remote. Whereas before, like you had to like literally be in that city. So just take advantage of the fact that like the world is becoming more distributed.
Yeah, I mean that was my only question, and thank you. Eduardo, do you have anything else, or Nikki, is there anything that you want to say to the audience? I mean, yeah, we just
I'll let
jumped to more viewers, but yeah.
I'll let Nikki finish off.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you everyone for spending this hour with us. I know you took an hour out of your really busy, hectic schedule. So I just want to say thank you for giving me the chance to be on here, Sandra and Eduardo. I really appreciate it. I love the mission and everything you two are doing. And I'm going to continue to be an ally and a supporter. And if anyone has any questions about crypto, financial literacy, or if you just want to talk, just slide into my DMs. More than happy to help you with anything you need. So yeah, I'm always here. I'm hellonikkib. So
Yes, yes,
Thank
you
you,
have
can
a
Nikki.
follow
handle.
her. You can just on the drop down, you can see the accounts and you can follow them.
Yeah.
So bye
Thank
everyone.
you.
It was great. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks so much. All right, take care
Have
everyone.
a
And
Bye.
bye.
already.